took too long. You could have been killed.
It's okay. You saved us both.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Your boy, you taste Archangel here, the undiscovered talent, the Archangel of Chaos, the biblical beast, the best there is, the best was, the best there ever will be, the most versatile conspirator out there. Finally here with a review of our Halo Infinite's campaign. Like, we did a review of multiplayer. You can go back and find that review at the end of this video. It'll be attached to the video and in the end cards, whatever. But today is the review of the campaign. Your boy finally beat the campaign. We did a legendary run. We didn't do anything else. We went the second the campaign came out. We dove right into the legendary. Didn't play no heroic or normal to get our feet wet. No, we jumped right into the shit. So we're gonna talk about the review. This is not a scripted video, so I'm gonna be like all over the place. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. This video could be freaking 10 minutes, could be 40 minutes. Who the hell knows? But Halo Infinite. So before we get into the crux of the things, I'm trying to prevent spoilers. So if you're afraid of spoilers, I'm gonna try to prevent those. But I do want to talk about some of the things I've heard around the world or the media when it comes to Halo's campaign. But the biggest thing being, people talking about, complaining about how the initial story starts off. People are confused. People don't know what the hell's going on. And there's like a lot of back and forth, and people who are like Kotaku, fuck Kotaku by the way. They're a trash can company who's not a real journalist, they're shit. But when it comes to what they were like saying for their review was basically they don't like the opening scene is a mess, yada yada yada. It sucks. They don't get what's going on. Things just happen. And to explain it, this is the only kind of spoiler you're gonna get is at the beginning of the game, Chief's fighting a character whom, if you don't play the other games like Halo Wars, Halo Wars 2, you don't know who this character is. And this person beats Chief in a fight. Chief lands on the Zeta Halo. Things happen. Again, trying to avoid spoilers. We're just trying to like tiptoe around like actual information and details. So when I compare this to my live stream, which by the way, if you can find me on Twitch, links to be on your screen right now in the description box below. We stream from Monday through Thursday. 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern. Halo came out, we did 12-hour stream on the opening day. Then we did like 8 hours every day since then until we beat the game. But anyways, on my stream I mentioned Halo's opening reminds me of Final Fantasy 15 in a sense where the game relies on you playing the other games or watching a movie to understand what's in front of your face. For those who don't know, don't get what I'm referring to, in Final Fantasy 15, there's cutscenes that don't make sense. There's cutscenes of things happening that have no context whatsoever, unless you watch Kingsglaive movie. The Kingsglaive movie is a direct tie-in to the Final Fantasy 15 video game. Those cutscenes that don't have any context, those cutscenes that don't make any sense in the game, make a lot of sense when you have watched the movie because they're from the movie. Halo does the exact same thing. Halo, the way it starts off, is basically conveying something to you that you wouldn't understand if you didn't play Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2. This isn't a spoiler, this is kind of something that you get by just freaking watching trailers. The Banished are in Halo Infinite. Atriox is mentioned in Halo Infinite. Banished and Atriox are what you experience if you play the Halo Wars franchise. So what Final Fantasy wanted you to do, they wanted you to go watch that movie before playing the game. What 343 wants you to do, they want you to play Halo Wars before you play Infinite. I kept saying during my stream that Halo Infinite is going to do two things. It's going to retcon some things when it comes to Halo 5. It's going to also canonize Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2. Now Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2 were likely already canon, but they weren't really considered part of the mainline games. The mainline games are generally what has Master Chief involved. Even Reach considers just a spinoff. But by having Atriox in Halo Infinite and by mentioning the Banished and having them being like the main enemy antagonist of this game, you're basically fully canonizing the Halo Wars series, which to me is the company themselves, the developers themselves saying, hey, go play these two games and you'll understand everything involving the Banished. You'll understand everything involving Atriox. Otherwise, you don't know who the fuck the Banished is. You don't know who Atriox is. None of it makes sense to you because you don't have that prior knowledge of this faction. Now, with all that said, how is Halo Infinite's campaign? It's phenomenal. It's amazing. It's great. There's nothing about it that I would say is bad, other than it does. If you only stick to the main quest line, it's kind of short compared to other Halo games. But if you're doing everything in the game in terms of exploring the map, because this is an open world game, this is not your typical Halo experience. For those who don't know this is not your typical Halo linear experience. This is an open world adventure game. You can go over an entire map doing side quests and looking for, you know, collectibles and things like that, and do main missions, and, you know, do bounty target hunts. It's an open world game. There's way more to this Halo than any other Halo in the past. So if you do all those things, you do the entire game, there's a lot here. There's a lot of content here. There's a lot of value here. And I think for the most part, this opens up the door for the being like expansions down the line, as in DLC, single player DLCs for the campaign. Because when you beat Halo, like I did on Legendary, the game doesn't like sync to the main screen or anything like that. It puts you right back on the open world with everything that you've done being done, implying that there might be more content added to it from there. So Halo Infinite allows the potential for there to be more. Like, this is going to be, like, in my opinion, a new trilogy. So we're going to see Halo 4 and 5 was meant to be the start of a new trilogy. Because of like how those games, you know, failed and the feedback they got from fans, that trilogy turned into just, you know, 2 games. And right with Halo Infinite, which is why they removed a number, it's not Halo 6, it's Halo Infinite. They're basically, you know, rebooting a trilogy. Not rebooting Halo, but rebooting the trilogy. It's all right, Halo 4 and 5 exists, but we're gonna start over when it comes to a new trilogy and go from there. And we're gonna use Infinite as the playground for building to the future. So you're gonna see what the future holds with Halo, with Infinite's campaign, and any DLCs that add to it along the way before, you know, 5 years from now, there's a new Halo game. So between now and those 5 years, this is just speculation, there's going to be single player content for Halo. So outside of, you know, that, visually the game is astonishing. Like, it is a beautiful game. The atmosphere is amazing. This is the way the environment looks and how you traverse it and how you get around it. And it's so great that they give you grapple hooks. You can just do whatever you want. There is no fall damage in this game, which is also another amazing quality of life thing that they did. It's the fact that there's just no fall damage. You can just jump off whatever the fuck you want to jump off of. And it's great. It's a small thing, but it's a great quality of life thing. But when it comes to, like, when you play Halo 1, for example, you play Halo CE, you're on the ring, you want to explore that ring. And you can for the most part, but it's not an open world game. So there's a limit to how much you can explore on the opening sequence of Halo CE. This game allows you to do exactly what you wanted to do 20 years ago. It allows you to just explore Zeta Halo. You know, this big sandbox, this giant map, you can just go around. Yes, there's things locked off that you unlock, progress the main story, but there's a lot that you unlock just by doing just small things and so on. It's great. It's a gorgeous game. The open world aspects of it is nice. I can't really think of really any negatives towards the campaign. Like, I just can't. Like, you could say the beginning of the game is what it is, but again, reviews are opinions. And when you have these opinions, they're based off your own experience. My experience doesn't have the lack of Halo Wars. I played Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2, so I know who the Banished are. I know who Atriox is, and I enjoyed. I was intrigued when I watched the opening cutscene. I wasn't confused. I was intrigued. Like, what is going on? I want to know what's going on. I want to know more. I need to have more information on what I just saw. And the game gives you that. The more and more you get into it. And when it comes to the future of the game, it makes you curious. What about the Arbiter? Where's Arbiter right now? How's going on with that? Where's Spartan Locke? What's going on with that? You know, is Lasky dead? Is Lasky alive? You know, what really happened with Cortana? And again, avoiding spoilers, they do give you answers to the Cortana situation. You get all the answers you need on Cortana in this game. And I'm not going to spoil it for you. You gotta play it yourself. If you have Game Pass, it costs you nothing extra to play the game's campaign. It's an amazing experience, you know. I'll tell you right now, and this is a spoiler because I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a video for my top 5 games of 2021. Halo's number 1. Halo's the best game this year from like the ground up. Like even I'm including the multiplayer as well. The multiplayer, I have my beats with it, but it's also an amazing multiplayer when it works. You know, and its campaign is flawless. You know, I don't, like I said, I don't really have a glowing negative that makes sense to dock off a point from it. Because by itself, the campaign's a 10 out of 10. So in multiplayer, maybe multiplayer will probably drop down the overall review score to like a 9. Because there are issues in multiplayer that I feel like needs to be addressed, and they're not. So the multiplayer score and the campaign score combined together, I would just say is a 9. But by itself, the campaign's amazing. It's flawless. I didn't have any bugs, no glitches, no crash. I think my game crashed. Dude, it froze twice. It didn't crash, it froze twice. But that was about it. And again, that's just nitpicky. It's not like really anything other than that. You know, it could have been my own fault. I was streaming at the same time, and then, you know, who knows? I'm just giving, there's plausible deniability on what caused it to freeze the 2 times it did, and it unfroze. It didn't crash my system, thing like that. Just it unfroze after like a couple of seconds.
Another thing I want to get a little nitpicky about is some of the boss encounters. I think the boss encounters in the game are all mostly good, but I do want to point out that they for 3 kind of like copy pasted on one boss encounter. So one of the encounters that I hear people talk about a lot in terms of being like a great, you know, boss fight is fighting against Jaeger. But my issue with that fight, this isn't really an issue with Jaeger himself. He's a great character. But we have a similar fight earlier in the game. One of the first boss fights you get into in the game, you face this elite who turns invisible, and you mostly, you know, roam around a dark room, and you're throwing freaking, you know, coils at them. In the Jaeger fight, you're basically doing the exact same thing. Like you're in a dark room with an elite. You're kind of just throwing coils at them, and it's just a copy paste, but this time it's with a more deadly elite, and not just that elite. Is Jaeger, the Blade Master. So it's more deadly, it's more serious. And it's like, I get it. This is very nitpicky, but it is basically a copy pasted boss fight. And that is kind of a negative. It's not like a big negative that hurts the score of the game, but it is something that should be pointed out when it comes to, you know, this game has a lot of good boss encounters. But they reused an idea when it comes there, and I guess maybe they were in a rush, or they kind of figure, hey, he's a Blade Master, he's take advantage of these things. And you know, clearly the Jaeger fight is better than that original freaking elite sword boss, mini boss, whatever you want to call it. I forgot what his name was, but Jaeger's encounter is better. You know, the atmosphere is better. It's kind of like a horror atmosphere. The character is better. But at the same time, it's still mostly the same when it comes to the actual design of the fight itself. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the game's boss encounters are all mostly good encounters. You know, I don't get a lot of the bad feedback that Halo gets, but I can also like guarantee that most of it just hate. People don't want Halo to be successful because people don't want Xbox to be successful. People don't want Halo to be successful because they don't play Halo. They don't like Halo. They don't like the idea of Halo or whatever. People will have their reasons for why they are haters. Haters are going to hate. You know, it's just that simple. And some people are going to make negative videos just to make money off the fact that there's people who love this game, who love this franchise, and they'll watch your negative video just to respond to you. Yep. And also people who just like negativity. So they gravitate towards negative content. They want to experience negative content because they like negative shit. Just how it is. You know, Halo's not a bad game. It's not. And if you see like any of those stupid articles where they try to point out as it is, it's bullshit. One of the coolest things in the game is that like there's collectibles, like data pads, things like that, but there's also like these armor like chest things where if you open those chests, it unlocks multiplayer skins, like vehicles, guns, and you know, your armor, things like that. So just a cool interconnective way to have the multiplayer in a campaign. So just playing the campaign unlocks cosmetics multiplayer, as well as when it comes back to the whole, going back to the whole, you know, is open world. You have armor abilities that you actually upgrade with a skill tree as if the game's RPG.
further going into the whole thought process that Halo Infinite is not a traditional Halo game. It should be viewed as such. And if you go on Game Pass, they didn't have it listed as a shooter. They have it listed as an action adventure game. Because it's open world and it has RPG elements when it comes to the fact that you have these armor abilities that you level up throughout by playing the game. Which you can do by not even like actually playing the main quest line. You can max out your armor abilities by just exploring, because the way you upgrade them are these little cache points that you just find later on the map. The game's giving you a reason to explore, but you get new armor new armor abilities by playing the main game, but you can max out the ones you already have, like for example the grapple hook, immediately. Like you can play the game, get the grapple hook, explore the area, max it out. The easiest compliment you can always give a Halo game is atmosphere. Halo always has a great atmosphere. Halo also always has a great soundtrack. There's no Halo games with bad atmosphere. There's no Halo games with a bad soundtrack. So there's like the easy things where it's like, well, how's the music? It's Halo. It's good. How's the atmosphere? It's Halo. It's good. Like the writing is great. The voice acting is great. The cutscenes were great. I feel like there should have been more, but that's just me. I like Halo 4, so I like the whole, well voice acted, well acted, having a lot of long cutscenes to watch that you had in Halo 4. This game's cutscenes are mostly pretty short, not very long. They don't feel long. It could just be me. They don't really feel like long cutscenes. And I'm trying to think about what is it that I can also point out as well when it comes to the Halo Infinite, because I can't come up with like anything else. Like everything I've mentioned up to this point, I feel like that's all you need to know. Because I feel like a review should always be based on what someone needs to know without spoiling the game itself. What do people need to know about the game? And I feel like so far up to this point we've done that. We've pointed out how good the story is, how good the open world aspect is, how the example I gave on Twitter was Halo Infinite being open world is like what happened with Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed went from what it was to Origins. It was a whole new game, and it seemed like it was a perfect fit. Assassin's Creed Origins being an open world RPG versus being an action adventure game like Assassin's Creed was a perfect fit for Assassin's Creed. Halo being an action adventure game is a perfect fit for Halo. Like, it doesn't seem out of place. It doesn't seem random. It doesn't seem like they're trying really hard to grasp a desperate grasp to revive the franchise. It seemed like this is how Halo was always meant to be played. And you do get that sense when you watch older videos from Bungie back in 1999 and 2000, where they tell you that originally when Halo was supposed to be for the Mac, it was going to be an open world game, but they ended up going Microsoft and going with the Xbox and had to downsize. So Halo's always meant to be an open world game, just never was until now, and it feels natural. But with all that said, that's it for this review. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave any thoughts you have, any comments below. If there's something about the Halo's campaign that I didn't touch or that you want to hear about, let me know, and I'll do another video about Halo Infinite, I guess. I feel like I covered enough. But I don't like I said, it's not scripted, so there's like no knowing. Like maybe like when the video ends up like, oh, I should have mentioned this, I should have mentioned that. And, it is what it is. But like I said, that's it for the video. Halo Infinite campaign's amazing. Multiplayer is good, could be better, but it's still great. And they fixed the issues that it has. It will also be a 10 out of 10 amazing experience. As a package deal, it's just an amazing package itself. It's amazing. Good job 343. Good job. I'll catch y'all on the next one. You'll be safe. You can watch I'll catch you guys on live stream if you want to watch on Twitch. Link type in Twitch below, on your screen. Me boy takes the Archangel. Deuces. You might want to move. He tends to just drop shit. I told him to move. I literally said you might want to fucking move. So special. I'd advise you to move. That's not what I meant. All right, good job. And okay, you got out the way, and then you got back in. Like, chat, you can't make up the AI. You might want to move. Like, really, you would. That's not a good idea. Both of y'all might. All right. I don't know. I advise y'all to move. Move or die.
Spartan?
On my way with your wasp now, Chief. Make sure the LZ is clear.
A nice little two-piece. Nice little two-piece.